So welcome back to the Villa View. I'm just going to go over the game yesterday against Hull and just give a bit of a post-match reaction from myself because I didn't really have time to do it yesterday after the game because I had to get back. It was really the stereotypical game of two halves for Villa. We just never seemed to be able to play well for two halves. The first half I thought we were really good. We played some really nice football. We looked like we had some penetration behind us and we were unlucky perhaps not to score more than one, and on another day perhaps we would have had 2 or 3 going into half time. And Hull didn't really do anything until the last 5 minutes of the first half, but then unfortunately they carried that last 5 minutes into the second half and started really fast, and we didn't really seem to be able to cope with that. The worrying thing is that we're playing really well, with a good 45 minutes behind us, we're getting at half time, and I mean Steve Bruce hasn't acted in his post-match like he's given the instruction to sit back, but we've had 15 minutes with the manager and we've come back a completely different outfit to the first half, so that is a concern because you could see the goal coming. The goal for Hull wasn't against the run of play. They deserved that goal. And then we didn't really liven up again until the last 10 minutes. So there was some worrying things, but I want to try and focus on the positive a little bit. If I can, I thought Scott Hogan was excellent in the first half. He's always on the move, and he must be really frustrated still because the amount of good runs that he makes and doesn't get found must be really annoying for him. I think at times him and Lansbury worked well together, and it was useful for him to have someone like Lansbury with that passing range quite close to him. I mean, personally, I think Lansbury operates better as a deep lying midfielder, but perhaps while Codger's out, maybe having hit those two in tandem together will help Scott Hogan because he did look lively. He's deceptively quick and he's got very good feet and was unlucky not to score when he managed to work his way through into the penalty box in the first half. Obviously, there was a lot said around John Terry before the game. To be honest, I didn't really notice him that much, which is probably a good thing for a centre-back and for a defender. I mean, he looked astute when he had the ball. His passing range is actually very good. He's so comfortable on the ball, both-footed, and that's something that can obviously benefit us, having him at left centre-back, the fact that he can use his left foot as well. He came across, I don't know if this was just me, he came across a bit shy. Like I feel like he feels he's got to prove himself to the Villa fans before he's loved, and that's the way it should be. But you can tell that he's loved already by the Villa faithful, and I'm really pleased we've got him in because I don't see us conceding many goals with him and Chester. I thought Chester picked up where he left off last season. He was so astute as well, used the ball well, put himself in the right place. I mean, the goal wasn't really anything to do with bad centre-back play. It came down the flank and ended up missing out all the centre-backs, and there's a guy at the back stick to knock it in, very similar to our goal. So defensively, I thought the full-backs were good as well. Hutton and Taylor both picked up where they left off last season as well. I'd like to see a bit more coming forward from them. I thought it was interesting that Neil Taylor was on quite a few of the set pieces because we don't see him, well, we don't talk about him as someone that's good going forward, but if he's on set pieces, he must have a good delivery, so that's something I want to see more of going forward now. It would be remiss of me not to touch on the Renaissance man, Gabriel Bonlahor. I mean, for him to start the season and score our first goal this campaign, the guy's got more lives than a cat, but to be fair, credit to him because the fact that he's actually in the health to play on the left of midfield and play on the wing is a credit to him because he wouldn't have been able to do that this time last year. I thought he worked his socks off, and perhaps actually I think he should have been the one that was dragged rather than Hogan, because I think Gabby was running on empty towards the game, and I think Hogan is our best finisher. We haven't seen much of it in a claret and blue shirt, but I can tell you from his Brentford days, he's a very good finisher, and if you're trying to win the game still, having him up top rather than having Chris Samba up front at the end, which was absolutely bizarre, then it's a better option for you. If you get that killer chance, you want your best players on the pitch. And I might be wrong in this, but I don't think Hogan's completed 90 minutes yet, which is just bizarre. Bruce needs to give him a proper run because he's not going to get going and he's not going to get firing until he has that run in the team of 90-minute games. I think if we give him that, we've definitely got a goal scorer there, someone who can hit between 15 and 20 goals for us this season. And if we are to score the 80+ goals that Keith Winers is talking about, we're going to need him and Codger both to be contributing heavily. Leandro Bacuna obviously had a really bad game in midfield. I can't dress it up any other way. He wasn't at his best at all. I'm not sure about him in a midfield central two, to be honest. I'm not sure he offers enough in that. In a three, I can see why you pick him because he gives you a lot of energy and he perhaps does things that the other midfielders can't do, such as carry the ball and dribbling. But seeing him as a sitting midfielder next to Whelan as a two, it's not his fault. He's picked there, he's doing the job he's asked to do, but I don't think he offers enough in that position. So Bruce has to take some of the blame for that, for picking him there for me, because I don't think that is his position at all. But however bad you think he played, however bad you think he is, whether you like him whether you don't. The reaction when he went off the pitch, it doesn't help anyone. Doing the ironic cheers to see him subbed. Okay, he's had a bad game. He'll know that he's had a bad game, but it doesn't do him any good, and it doesn't do the team any good. We're at this point now where I think we've got players at Villa that want to be here. We've weaned out people that don't want to be here, and Bacuna obviously shows something, because otherwise Bruce wouldn't keep picking him. It doesn't do the rest of the team any good to hear their colleague jeered off. It makes them perhaps afraid to try something a bit more adventurous. Maybe they play it safe instead of trying that dynamic ball forward, because they're afraid of the crowd reaction. It's 2017 now. This is a new era for Villa. We as fans, we've got to be better than what we're doing at times. The fans are the majority of the fans are behind the players all game, but there's just that little poisonous element in the Villa fans that feel the need to do these things, like ironically cheer when players are subbed and boo players and boo them off at the end of the game. It's not helpful. As I say, it's 2017. It's not the Joker squad of 2015-16 anymore. We've got to be behind the boys, because together we can get Villa promoted. I believe the fans can play an absolutely massive part. So, as I say, the fans, or that element of the fans, have got to be better in 2017 for me. Bruce's subs were perhaps a little bit questionable. I've already touched on Hogan coming off. It was good to see Green come on and inject some pace and some trickery into that side. I really think he's got a big season ahead of him. How he's not scored, I do not know, and he won't know how he's not scored either. I mean, I've come to the conclusion now, this guy's cursed in front of goal. I don't think he's ever going to score for Villa. He's hit the post a number of times, put them just wide. Now, it just won't go in for the lad, but I think once he gets one, that will do him the world of good, and I want to see more of him this season. The lad from Spurs on loan as well, Josh Onome, I can't say his name. The lad on loan from Spurs as well, Josh Onome, I'm just going to call him Josh. I think he'll offer us something different, and Bruce has already pointed towards that fact. I thought it was a bit strange to see him move back into the midfield too when Lansbury went off. That wouldn't have been something I would have done on his first game, but I think he'll operate where Grealish was going to operate, in the number 10 role, and he showed some encouraging signs when he came on as well. Okay, he gave the ball away a couple of the times, but that shows that he's not afraid to try the dangerous pass, the forward pass to make something happen. So I think that will stand him in good stead, and he'll get better with more minutes on the pitch as well. Perhaps should have done better with his chance at the end, and that's the thing as well. Like, Hull probably were the better side in the second half, but we still had the two best chances other than the whole goal to win the game. So that's encouraging as well. I think there's more to be happy about than disappointed about. Okay, there is things to worry about, and despite the fact that we've played very well in the first half, we've come out in the second half and not been great again, and that's a worrying Villa trait that's been around for some time, and something that Steve Bruce will know he needs to get right, because if he doesn't, we won't be up challenging towards the top, and that obviously puts Steve Bruce under pressure, so he'll know he needs to rectify that pretty much immediately. So that's my thoughts after the game yesterday. I don't think it's as bad a result as some might say it is, because I do think Hull will be somewhere near the top six. I think they're actually a decent side, despite the fact they've lost a lot of players. I think they've still got a strong lineup. I mean, Grzycki on the wing is a very good player, and they had some other good players as well. Fraser Campbell and Abel Hernandez are good Championship strikers. So perhaps not a terrible result. And if you look at some of the results yesterday, the teams that you'd expect to have won their first game didn't. So there's a long way to go. And we saw last season, obviously, Newcastle lost their first two games as well and went on to win the league. So there's plenty of time, and there's plenty of time for Bruce to get it right, and I think that he will. If you have enjoyed my ramblings, then please do give the video a like, and don't forget to check out fan cams from last night. I think there's some valid points made by a lot of the Villa fans, and it was good to be amongst the Villa fans again, engaging other people's opinions other than just mine and young Matthews. Comment below on your thoughts on the game. What were you encouraged by? What discouraged you slightly? Is there anything you think we can do a lot better for the games ahead? And let us know what you think is going to happen for the Colchester game on Wednesday. What side you think Bruce might pick, whether he'll rotate or not. Also, go back and check our Keith Wireless interview if you haven't already. There was some good stuff learned in that video, some stuff that I don't believe has been said by the chief exec elsewhere. So that's a really good watch for Villa fans if they go onto our channel and watch that. Thanks ever so much for all your support. It was great to see so many Villa fans yesterday, and the Villa View subscribers as well. Some many kind things said to me yesterday while I was around the ground. So thanks a lot. I really appreciate all your kind words. Stick with the channel, stick with the Villa, up the Villa. If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.